We'll start seated today, so find any way that's comfortable for you. You can sit cross-legged or otherwise. And welcome to the air element flow. So this is the fourth element flow in this series. When we're working with the air element, we're working with a space in our body around our heart center. It's related to the anahata chakra, the heart chakra. And so this chakra is responsible for our feelings, this is probably an obvious one, our feelings of love, but also of a kind of consciousness that doesn't need our mental languaging, that's more of an interconnected kind of consciousness. And the word anahata means in Sanskrit, unstruck, a sound that's created without actually striking two things together. And so it's also telling of our inner potential, what energy exists that has not been realized. We're going to be working through some backbends today, but we'll make sure that we're really warm to do this and that there's lots of options along the way for you to work with. Okay, so back to your seat. Find a sense of grounding and settle into stillness. Place your hands on your legs to help you with steadiness. And let your elbows be heavy, your shoulders relax too. And then lift up through the back of your neck and up through the crown of your head. Let's take 3 deep clearing breaths in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Long exhale. Okay, now bring your palms together to heart center. Let's move to ujjayi breathing. So that's an even, strong rhythm of breath that's slow. Each time you breathe in, let the breath move up through your torso slowly, up towards your heart center. And when you exhale, it leaves you equally slowly and moves down towards your pelvic floor. And when we're breathing in a ujjayi way, there's a slight constriction at the back of your throat that creates a soft noise, a soft whispering noise, both when you breathe in and when you breathe out. And this raspiness, this friction, this sound created by your breath helps to zoom you into this present moment. And move your attention down towards your heart center. So that's right around your sternum, hard bone in the middle of your chest. Notice how the space floats on the wave of your breath. This is a vulnerable space in our body, one that we often shrug to protect. It's very telling of our sense of confidence in a given moment and how we allow ourselves to be exposed or not. So in this safe space, this container created today, we're going to work to open this place of the body, allowing your energy to flow more freely. Now, place your hands down on your knees or thighs, and the next time you inhale, press your chest forward and up. And when you exhale, round your spine, draw your shoulders forward, bring your chin down. Inhale, again, bring your chest forward and up, your shoulders back and down, and then exhale to round your spine. Move like this with the pace of your breath a few more times. Breathe in and you sit up tall. Let's move off our seat as you exhale. Just come around to your hands and knees. And so stabilize yourself with your fingers spread wide, but bring your knees just a little bit closer than hip width distance apart. Stretch your right heel back, and once you're balanced on your knee and your right hand, extend your left fingertips forward. Now as you inhale, add a little extra lift through your right heel and left thumb, and then when you exhale, bend your knee and elbow, hug them in, rounding your spine. And then inhale to stretch back and forth, and exhale to curl. And a few more at your own pace. And one more. After your exhale is complete, place your knee and hand to the ground. Let's switch sides. Reach back through your left hand. Take your right arm forward. And when you exhale, bend your knee and elbow and hug them in. Moving back to the inhale, stretch out, create a little back bend. And then the exhale rounds your spine. Okay, a few more. And one more time. And after the exhale, bring your hand and your knee down, and then walk your hands up towards your knees. Curl your toes under, and then press back into the balls of your feet. Lift up through the center of your chest and try just a little bit of a lean back so you can feel the fronts of your quads awake, maybe a bit of awakeness in the front of your heart as well, or sorry, the front of your abdomen as well. And then take your elbows open wide. Okay, hug your inner thighs in towards each other, lift through your pelvic floor. Do your best to inhale. And then as you exhale, lean forward, tipping from your hips, bring your palms and elbows together. And then inhale, lift up with just a little lean back. And then exhale to round and to fold. Again, keep going at your own pace. We'll do about 3 more. One more time. Okay. So as you folded forward, bring your hands back down. Let's take this to down dog. So just lengthen your stride out a little bit. Lift your knees up and feel free to make some extra motions in downward facing dog, helping to warm up the backs of your legs and the undersides of your feet. Make this a good feeling, long stretch of your spine. Let your head be heavy and your hands firm so your arms can offer you some good support. Okay, and then bring stillness to downward facing dog, and let's take a clearing breath, a slow inhale and a long exhale. Okay, the next time you breathe in, lift your heels up further. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Take steps or a hop to come forward up to a halfway lift once both feet are planted. And then exhale to fold. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Maybe your hands come to your shins. Exhale to bow in. And then one more. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to fold. Okay, now rise up to stand. At the top of your breath, reach up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring your hands down through heart center and down by your sides. So holding mountain pose, let's take a few slow breaths. And next time you breathe in, lift through your chest, sweep your arms up, put a little bend in your knees, fold forward from your hips, come down, Uttanasana. As you inhale, lengthen your spine, halfway lift. And then step your right foot back for a low lunge. Rest your right knee down on the mat. Inhale to lift your upper body. Bring your arms up also. But as you exhale, bend your elbows, take your fingertips lightly to the back of your head. Draw your tailbone down, lift up through the center of your chest, and then let your hands act as a cradle for your head. Keep your breath moving slowly. And each time you breathe in, at the crest of your inhalation, try to open up from your heart center, wide through your collarbones, wide through the front of your rib cage. 2 more breaths. And lean forward, bring your fingertips down underneath your shoulders. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. Let's twist this time. So keep your right hand down, reach your left arm wide and up towards the ceiling. So the twists serve as a nice release for your spine after a back bend, even a back bend like a low lunge. But they also create some curling and strength through your core and upper back. So try to draw the right side of your rib cage underneath you and hug your shoulder blades in towards your spine. And then lengthen your chest forward. So even in the constrictions of the twist, you're still seeking space. Breathing in this way one more time. And then as you exhale, bring your right hand down and step back to downward facing dog. Now as you inhale, slowly come forward into plank pose. And as you exhale, bend your knees and hover your knees off the mat. Inhale, draw the center of your chest forward, knees still hovering. And then exhale, draw your tailbone down, bring your chin towards your chest. Inhale, back in the shape of low plank with your knees just hovering, and then exhale, round your back. 2 more, and inhale. And an exhale. 1 more. And exhale. Okay, now breathe in, straighten your legs out, chest forward. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower down. Untuck your toes, finger stand cobra. So walk your fingertips wide, inhale, lift through the center of your chest. Stay up, but as you exhale, roll your shoulder blades down your back. As you inhale, lift up through the crown of your head. And then exhale, lean in. Bring your palms to the ground, downward facing dog. Take your hips up and back. Working with an inhale, float your left leg up, 3-legged dog. And then step your left foot forward in between your hands, spin your right heel flat, and come up to Warrior 2 pose. So just take a few moments when you arrive in Warrior 2 to lunge over your left knee. And settle your shoulders down. And take your gaze forward over your left hand. And we're going to create a side body stretch through your left side. Peaceful warrior. Turn both palms up to the ceiling. Reach your fingertips up. Keep lunging into your left knee, but as you reach up, also lean towards the right, so away from your left knee. And try to lengthen down through your tailbone, but up through your chest. There's lots of space through your spine. And if you need a reminder, we're looking forward, never not behind ya. From New York, Africa to China, bringing the light that'll never blind ya. Let's stop drawing lines. As your next exhalation draws to a close, come upright. Bring your hands down just behind your hips. Turn your right big toe slightly ahead of your right heel and angle your body towards the top right edge of your mat. Now take your hands back, clasp your hands, lift up through the center of your chest, and when you exhale, fold on this diagonal towards the top right edge of your mat. Hug your left outer hip in towards the midline of your mat. Keep your right kneecap lifted so your legs are strong, and then draw up through your knuckles so you're creating a wide open space across your chest. And try to keep your breathing consistent. Each time you breathe out, try to breathe out all the way. Take 2 more. 1 more. Now stay low. Bring your hands down on each side of your left foot. Spin your right heel off the ground, but bring your right knee down instead. And then pull your left foot back down your mat. Take your right hand wider to the right, your right toes wider to the right, and then turn open towards the left. Bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand towards your foot. To release your thigh, hug your heel in towards your sitting bone for a moment, and then spread your toes and press the top of your left foot back into your left hand, stretching out your arm, and this creates a bit of a back bend. Try to lift your pubic bone up in the direction of your chest and draw the center of your chest towards the front of your mat. And your gaze can be sideways or turned up towards the ceiling, or the sky if you're practicing outside. And then carefully release your left leg, look down to the ground, bring both hands down, tuck your right toes behind your right knee, three-legged dog. Lift your left leg up and back. So take the inhale with your left leg afloat, and then exhale, step your left foot forward up to your left hand. Prepare for a high lunge, hug your left hip back, right hip forward, and then lift your upper body. So this time, turn your palms to face each other to start. Then take your elbows wide, almost like cactus arms, but your palms are still facing each other. And draw your tailbone down and the bottom tips of your shoulder blades down, but try to lift up through your pubic bone, up through the center of your chest. And you're welcome to stay facing directly forward, or as you lift up, also create some lean back. And then depending how you feel with the back bend, you can keep your elbows bent, elbows stretched wide, or reach your fingertips up and a little bit back. Try to keep your jaw soft, your tongue soft. Take one more breath. And then lean forward. Reach your fingertips ahead of your left foot. Step your right foot forward up to a halfway lift. And then exhale, bow in towards your legs. Let's rise to stand. Take your time. We're moving up to a full stretch. And then mountain pose. Soften your arms by your sides. A couple of slow breaths. Moving again as you inhale, lift your chest and arms. Bow forward from your hips, coming down into muscle. Inhale, a halfway lift to lengthen out. And then step your left foot back, lower your left knee to the ground, a low lunge. Inhale, lift your upper body, raise your arms. But as you exhale, bend your elbows, take your fingertips to the back of your head. So lengthen down through your back body, lift up through your front body. With your elbows wide, rest your head in the support of your fingers. And regulate your breath so we can help keep you calm and keep you strong. Breathe out. Lean forward, bring your hands down with your left toes tucked. Lift your left knee, sweep your right hand wide into a twist, revolve lunge. And try to keep your right hip settled, hugging in towards the midline of your mat. Draw the left side of your rib cage towards your right inner thigh. Move your shoulder blades down your back and lengthen your chest forward. Your heart's open wide. Down towards the ground, bring your right hand down, downward facing dog, lift your hips up and back. As you breathe in, come forward into plank pose, roll your shoulders back, bend your knees so your knees hover. With an inhale, shoulders back, chest forward. Exhale, tailbone down, lift your lower belly up, chin in towards your chest, and then inhale, smoothen your spine. Exhale, round your spine. Couple more, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and exhale. Okay, inhale, plank, press your legs straight. Exhale, bend your elbows to lower, untuck your toes, finger stand cobra, and inhale to rise. And exhale, draw your shoulders back. One more inhale. And then exhale, lower, palms down, downward facing dog. Let's clear out our breath. Take a deep inhale. Long exhale. As you inhale, lift your right leg up. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Come up to face sideways. Take a few moments to adjust your stride. Set up your left knee. Your right knee over your right heel. Then turn your palms up, reach up, and take a subtle lean over towards the left. Rest as a chance to expand and release. Come upright. Bring your hands behind your hips. Turn your left big toe slightly ahead of your left heel. Angle your chest just as your back foot is facing. Then draw your knuckles together. Inhale to lift your chest, and then exhale, dive towards the top left corner of your mat. And as you reach your knuckles up, hug your right outer hip in towards the center line of your mat. And allow yourself with your exhalations to work with gravity, keeping a long spine, but then your knuckles lifting up and away from the pull of the earth. So there's an open space created across your chest. Let's stay low to the ground. Release your hands, bring them around your right foot. Lift your left heel, bring your left knee down instead, and then pull your right foot back, extend your leg, bring your left hand wider, your left toes a little wider so you can turn towards the right. As your right hand lifts up, bend your right knee, reach towards the top of your foot. First, draw your heel in so you get a nice little thigh stretch after that work, and then spread your right toes and press the top of your foot into your hand. So here we're creating a bow shape with our body, your arm like the string of the bow. And draw your pubic bone forward and up towards your chest, and your chest towards the front of your mat. And then release your right foot, straighten out your right leg. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your left toes behind your left knee, and curl your left toes under so you can push up three-legged dog. So inhale while your right leg is lifted. And then exhale, step your right foot forward up towards your right hand, a high lunge. Breathe in to lift your upper body, palms facing each other. Keep hugging your right hip back, left hip forward. And then open your elbows wide, palms facing in. Draw your tailbone down, lift the center of your chest up. And then you can stay facing forward, or as you lift up, lean back. So that's pulling back through your thumbs, back through your ears. And that may be enough of your center of gravity moving back, or if you feel okay to also reach out through your fingertips, you can too. With your exhale, lean forward, reach ahead from your right foot, then step your left foot forward, come up to a halfway lift, lots of length in your spine. And exhale, bow in towards your legs. Okay, let's rise, take a slow inhale to come up to a full stretch. And then mountain pose, let your arms settle. Whew. Okay. So we're going to work with that bow shape that we were using from a kneeling position, this time turning it in towards a standing back bend of dancer pose. So you'll be standing on your left foot. Shift your weight into your left foot and bring your hands to your hips. Bend your right knee. Reach your right hand back towards the top of your foot and grab the outside or inside edge. Then reach your left arm up and hug your right inner thigh in towards your midline. Lift up through your pubic bone, up through the center of your chest, and then press the top of your right foot back into your right hand. So the back bend has begun. Keep your left shoulder rolled back. The crown of your head lifting, left fingertips lifting. And then if there's room to lift your right foot higher and deep in the back bend, then go ahead. Just keep your breath with you. Okay. Our aim is a runner's lunge. Try to take your time in transition to let go of your right foot, bend your left knee, reach for the ground. Once you have the ground, walk your left foot wider, turn your left toes a little wider than your left heel, and then bring your right knee down to the mat. Move your right hand ahead of your shoulder, bring your left hand up to your left hip, then turn your chest towards the left and lift your right foot up. Reach back, again for a thigh stretch of your right foot. So your heel hugs in towards the back of your hips. And then if you have space to lean in a little more, you're welcome to come off your right hand and make that your right forearm. So whichever works best. As you turn your chest open, also involves some strength in your upper back. So hug the bottom tips of your shoulder blades down and in towards the back of your rib cage. Lengthen out through the top of your head, and you could even lean back a little if there's space. slowly let go of your right foot. Bring your hands down underneath your shoulders. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, and then lift your left foot up and back, three-legged dog. So let your leg float, lift your left hip higher than your right one, and bend your left knee. And take a moment to press your right heel in a downward direction, so there's a nice sweet stretch up through the back of your calf. Keep your neck soft, your shoulder blades on your back. Let's inhale this way. As you exhale, bring your left thigh in close to your chest, round through your spine. Lift your right heel up nice and high so you can actually see it doing this, and then spin your right heel flat to the ground so you have the whole sole of your right foot there. Your left knee can come to the ground underneath your left hip, or stretch your left foot wide off the right side of your mat. Keep your left hand down, reach your right arm up, turn your right palm forward, extend your fingertips off the front of your mat, and then if you wish, push down through your feet to lift your inner right hip, turning your chest more towards the ceiling. And as you reach out, you can even lean back if there's space.
Breathe.
Your feet really firm, left fingertips really firm. One more slow inhale. If you lifted your hips, lower them down, bring your right hand down, three-legged dog, but this time with your hips at an even height to one another. Okay, draw your shoulder blades down your back. As you inhale, come forward into plank pose. Now either your right knee can come to the ground or roll to the outside of your right foot. Now your feet are both facing to the left. Bring your left hand up to your left hip. Bend your left knee and step your left toes just behind your right calf. Press down through your right finger pads. Now this time you can lift your inner right hip if you wish, the center of your chest, wild thing pose, reaching out, maybe leaning back a little. Take a slow breath in. And then lower your hips, turn over, this time plank pose. Your knees can be up or down. Take an inhale to roll your shoulders back. Exhale, bend your elbows and lie down. Okay, bend your knees. Reach your hands back towards the tops of your feet. Hug your inner thighs in towards each other and press your pubic bone down. And with your toes spread, press the tops of your feet back into your hands to elevate your chest. So to minimize the back bend, you can keep your thighs pressing down quite firmly and your pubic bone down quite firmly. Or if there's room to go a little further, float up through your toes, float up through the back edges of your ears, but try to keep your knees from going wide. Dhanurasana, bow pose.
Belt buckling.
Wardrobe issues. Okay, I'll just pause here for a second. Get back in. Okay. Take one more slow breath in. And then release. Okay, bring your palms down. You're most welcome to head to down dog, but child's pose may feel like a nice break after a few good back bends. So take your pick. What is needed now?
Breathe. Open your eyes.
And then lift your head if you're coming out of child's pose, that is. Let's meet in downward facing dog. So as you come up to down dog, lift your heels up a little higher. Bend your knees, look forward, step or hop your feet forward, come up to a halfway lift as you arrive. And then a forward fold as you breathe out. Okay, and then come up to stand. And to mountain pose. So take a few moments to regulate your energy. We're working in a fairly warm room, spring day. Sometimes there's a little, coming up. So make sure that you feel firm again on your feet. And then gradually lean over to your right foot. Bring your right hand to your right hip to start. Bend your left knee. Take your hand to the top of your foot. From the outside or from the inside, what works best for your left shoulder. Reach your right fingertips towards the ceiling. Hug your left inner thigh in towards your midline. And then push the top of your left foot back into your left hand. Try to lift up through your pubic bone, up through the center of your chest. If there's room to go a little further into the back bend, then you could choose to lift your left foot higher and try to keep a lift up through your right thumb.
Breathe.
Best destination is a runner's lunge. So gradually release, extend your left leg, and then reach your fingertips down underneath your shoulders, but then step your right foot wider so your right arm can fit to the inside of your right leg, and bring your left knee down. Walk your left hand just ahead of your left shoulder. Then turn your chest towards the right, bring your right hand up to your right hip, and lift your left foot. Reach your right hand back towards the top of your left foot. Okay, for a moment, hug your heel in towards the back of your hip. So there's a stretch. You can let a little of that release, but if that affords space to bring yourself down onto your forearm, you're welcome to. If you're best on your hand, just stay right there. Okay. Now turn your chest sideways, or maintain that, so it is a twist. And then try to draw your shoulder blades down your back, and the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, hug them into the back of your rib cage. So there's a little more open space through the front of your rib cage. And then lengthen your chest forwards, your upper back's nice and long, and your gaze can be sideways or even turned up towards the sky. Gradually release your left foot, bring your hands down underneath your shoulders, come back to a runner's lunge, and then three-legged dog, lift your right leg up and back. Now float your right hip over your left one and place a bend in your right knee. Keep both hands firm to the mat and then press your left heel down. So you just get a nice little stretch through the back of your left leg, but your right outer knee floating up high. On your next exhale, bring your right thigh into your chest, round your spine. Lift your left heel up high and then spin your left heel down towards the middle of your mat. So there's the sole of your foot. You can bring your right knee underneath your right hip or extend your right foot off towards the left and stay firm through your right hand. Reach up through your left hand, draw your shoulders back, feet firm. Turn your left palm forward, reach forward. Now, if you wish, you can turn this from side plank into a little more of a back bend by lifting through your right inner hip and reach up. And you may need to walk your right foot wider to the right to get there. Okay, firm through your left foot, right hand, look down, step back, three-legged dog by lifting your right leg up, but keep your hips even this time. Okay. Now, come forward into plank pose. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot or set your left knee underneath your left hip. Keep your left hand firm, both feet facing to the right. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Bend your right knee, set your right toes just behind your left calf. Push down now through your feet to lift through your inner left thigh, your pubic bone, the center of your chest, and reach out. Reach away from your chest towards the front. Gradually lower your hips, look down, take your right hand down, downward facing dog. Even out your body side to side, and then slowly approach plank pose. I guess we went directly to plank last time, that's okay. Exhale, bend your elbows to lower, untuck your toes, reach back to the tops of your feet, Dhanurasana, hug your inner thighs in, pubic bone down, lift up through your chest. If you wish, lift up through your toes. Lift up through the back edges of your ears. Make sure there's room for the breath in your pose. Now, let go of your feet. Carefully come down. Let's keep a little back bend in the body by bringing your elbows forward, Sphinx pose. Just bend your knees for a moment actually and rock your heels side to side. So there's just a little bit of softness. You can allow one hip to lift, the other hip to lift. There we go. Okay. And then stretch out your legs, curl your toes under, bring your knees down firmly, lift your belly button up, shoulders back, and then lift your hips up. So you can keep your knees on the mat if you feel the energy within to lift your knees up, you're welcome to. Try to hug your pubic bone forward and draw your shoulders back. So we're just reminding ourselves of the strength of our front body, the strength of our core, which helps us to regulate our back bends and keep us safer in our body. Okay, now rest your knees down, come up onto your hands instead of your elbows and walk your hands back towards your knees. Let's come to stand up on knees. And so it's better for you to fold your mat over for the comfort of your knees, as we'll be standing up here for a little bit. And if you have a hard block, place it in between your thighs. Also a great regulator for a back bend. Okay, so this is gonna be camel pose. Tuck your toes under. We're going to do the pose twice. Bring your hands onto your hips. Hug your inner thighs in towards the block. Lift up through your pelvic floor. Slide your hands then onto the back of your pelvis. Lift up through the center of your chest. You can stay as you are, or as you lift up, lean back. So as we did in the lunges, now your hands can stay on the back of your hips or take your hands down towards your heels. Keep hugging into the block, whichever way you choose to be. And if you are leaning back far enough to release your head, go at her. Own your front body, and then lift your chest back up. And then let's come to kneel. So untuck your toes, and if it's best for you to sit on the block to keep some of the pressure out of your knees, then please do. Bring your hands onto your thighs. Let's take a few slow breaths. Yeah, the exhaust can be out through your nose or mouth, whatever feels best for you. So back bends increase our heart rate. They're a little squeeze on our adrenals, so they're enlivening. Sometimes it's a little hard to sit still after the work. Just notice what you feel. Okay. So one more round of camel pose, Ustrasana. You're most welcome to take bridge pose lying down if you'd prefer. Come back up. If the block served you well between your thighs, it can go back there. And then bring your hands to the back of your hips, hug in through your thighs, lift up through your chest, lift up through your pelvic floor, and then carefully lean back. And as you lean, you may or may not choose to reach for your heels, and you may choose to keep your chin in towards your chest, or lengthen your neck out, or release your head back. From the pose, using the strength of your front body, lift back up. Now this time, bend your knees, aim one of your hips down to the ground beside your heels, and then bring your legs out ahead of you. And stretch out your legs. Okay. So as mentioned earlier in the practice, twists are a great way of neutralizing our spine. So we're going to take a seated twist before we come onto our back. It's going to be Ardha Matsyendrasana pose. So bend your right knee, take your right foot to your left outer thigh, your left leg can stay straight, or bring your heel in towards your right sitting bone. Take your right hand just behind your right hip, lift up to turn towards the right, and then wrap your left arm around your right leg, or your elbow could come to your outer knee. Draw your right collarbone back. Lift your lower belly towards your spine, hugging your lower back with support, and lift up through the top of your head. If you're comfortable turning your head back, you can do that too. And then save space in the pose for breath. So in a twist, when there's constraints and tension around your rib cage and torso, the breath, the power of the breath can move internally. Some subtle movement of your internal organs. Gradually release, turn forward, extend your right heel, bend your left knee, bring your foot to your right outer thigh. You can choose to keep your right leg straight or draw your heel towards your left sitting bone. Now bring your left hand behind you, press down to lift up through the center of your chest and turn. And then your right arm can come help you maintain the twist wrapped around your leg or elbow to your outer knee. And as you press down again, lift through the center of your chest, the top of your head. Roll your left collarbone back. And if you feel comfortable bringing your neck into the twist too, and turn over your left shoulder. just bend your knees, lean into your hands, even to release the last side of the twist. Rock your knees a couple times side to side. Okay, now let's move on to our back. So as you roll onto your back, center yourself on your mat. Okay, we're moving into reverse posture and towards shoulder stand. So you can take your pick what height you'd like to come to. If you want to put your hips up onto a block, then that can be the way you take the inversion and lifting your feet. Or you can lift your hips up into your hands, rolling up through your spine. If you're going this way, take a few moments to tuck your shoulder blades underneath you and bring your upper arm bones underneath you. And then whether you keep your feet further towards the back of your mat, or whether you lift your feet over your nose, or whether you walk your hands towards your shoulder blades and lift your heels over your hips. It's obviously up to you what feels best at this time. And a good idea beyond our ambition of where to go in the pose is to feel where our breath is at. So when you're in an inversion, it may make more sense in your body to inhale up towards your belly and exhale down towards your heart center. Plow pose, halasana. If your hips are on a block, just feel free to linger there a little while longer. Fold from your hips. Once you feel your hamstrings restricting you, put a little bend in your knees. Try to keep your sitting bones lifted. And then your hands can stay to the back of your hips, or you could stretch your hands towards the front of your mat, pressing down firmly through the backs of your arms. Whatever inversion you've chosen, let's come down now. So roll down your spine with care until your hips meet the mat and your feet meet the mat. Now we'll take a fork in the road. You can move to bound angle posture with the soles of your feet together, knees wide, or fish pose Matsyasana by rolling your arms underneath you, palms flat, and then straighten out your legs. Press forward through the balls of your feet, down through your palms and elbows, and then lift up through your chest. As you press forward with force through your feet and keep your chest lifted, slowly draw your head back, back and down, opening through your throat. And in either posture, try to keep your inhalations lifting space up and underneath your breastbone. Fish pose, lift your head up and lie down on your back, bend your knees. And if your knees are open in bound angle pose, bring them in towards each other. And then gradually bring your knees in towards your chest. Lift your feet up, hinging at your knees. Take your knees a little wider and reach through your inner knees up towards your calves or ankles or the outer edges of your feet. Happy baby pose. Use the strength of your arms to draw your thighs down. And then maybe that happens one at a time to create a little rocking from side to side, pulling on your left foot, pulling on your right foot. As you come back to center, let go of your feet. Let's take a long stretch, feet forward, hands back, a slow inhale. Lift through your chest. Open your mouth, exhale. And then slide your arms by your sides. Open your heels a little wider. Press down through the backs of your hips, back of your head, and lift your chest. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. And then rest back down, Shavasana. off of your toes and your fingers. And bring a bit of movement into your hands and your feet. Bring the soles of your feet to your mat. And raise your left arm by your ear. Roll over onto your right side. And press down through your left hand. Lift yourself up slowly. And come up to a comfortable supported seat. And bring your palms together to heart center. Let's close the practice with a call of Om. Before that, a deep clearing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Thank you for your practice. Namaste.